Here, 2014 National Collegiate Paintball Championships. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Todd Martinez. The game we've been waiting all morning to see. Fresno State is taking on Penn State. Both of these teams won their game convincingly yesterday, and we don't know who's going to win this one. Two evenly matched squads. Fresno State doesn't have a huge history in the NCPA, but Penn State does. They've taken second twice, third twice, been in this league for a long time. And they really are hungry for a national championship here. But they got a lot of young guys, a lot of young, unproven guys on their squad. But, you know, talk to their coach, Rob Ortiz. He's very confident in his boys. And I know Fresno State is very confident. So we're going to find out here just about 25 seconds to go before the start of this first point.
Yeah, and, you know, Fresno State playing with some purpose out here. They got guys like Boothby, you know, who's his last hurrah out here for Fresno State. We saw Chase Bauer play some really good paintball yesterday. Matthew Deans was the guy that was getting in the snake and doing work for Fresno State. You know, not a lot of depth on their roster, only 2 subs in the Fresno State pit. Nittany Lions, a little bit deeper roster. Fresno State's going to run with their dogs.
So Fresno State gets to the snake first. So 50 snake rolls across, but he's getting put in. Penn State is also in there, and he's also getting shot at. Oh, nice shot. Ooh, so Fresno State gets a shot cross field, but then Penn State runs him down. So the snake is cleared, but a little more damage done by Fresno State as they got another kill out of there. So 2 kills, and for Fresno State here, they try to push their advantage in the center on the D side. Oh, but they get taken out, so Todd, not looking good for Fresno State all of a sudden.
Now, Fresno State lucky not to catch a spinning major in that exchange over here on the snake side, but tons of bodies walk off all at once as I think Fresno State's only got 1 body left alive over there on the Dorito side to the 2 of Penn State. Penn State in that 4 Dorito. Zach Johnson, you remember him from yesterday, you know, all over the field. Quick little short dude out there, but blazing speed, really good gun skills. Now working the 2-on-1 with his teammate on the inside Dorito. Taking on that Dorito can of Fresno State, the last body alive. Now Penn State gonna widen it out a little bit, advance up to the A.
Yeah, they got
themselves a little bit more space and get the squeeze in, as it looks like Zach Johnson gets the shot in on the left side of the goggles of the remaining Bulldog over there on the Dorito side.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, they need to spread that field. When you get in a 2-on-1 situation and you're pretty much stacked up real close to each other, that's a recipe for a potential disaster. The wider you make that field, the harder it becomes for that last player left alive. So Penn State, the first to strike here against the Fresno Bulldogs. You check on the replay here. This is the Bulldogs digging out all the way to the snake off the break, made it in their clean, real nice run for Fresno State. And then we saw the chaos at the 50-yard line, and this is that last kill, last player left alive for Fresno State. And once that field gets wide, actually, yeah, Penn State didn't really need to widen the field that much because they lost that gunfight against the player that was on the D side of the field. So 8 minutes and 26 seconds to go here in the first half. This game just began. You can see there's Rob Ortiz, the coach, leader for Penn State out there. Been involved with the NCPA for a long time. One of the guys helping move college paintball forward. And then Fresno State representing California. California is such a hotbed of paintball talent in NorCal. You know, Dave Baines has a field there. Michael McLaughlin, old school Ironman player, excessive player, also has a field. So Rich Telford has a field in Modesto, not far from Fresno. So lots of mentors for guys that want to play paintball in Northern California, pretty much all over California. SoCal, huge hotbed of talent down there. It's long been the mecca for paintball. So
yeah, you know, we've got some pretty good players out here. You know, we saw some impressive paintball yesterday out of Fresno State. You know, big contributions by Boothby, Deans, Bauer. You know, the 2 Dorito players over there getting it done. Osagueta and Alex Henley. You know, Zach Johnson getting it done over there on the Dorito side for Penn State. And on the breakout, Penn State takes one in the goggles, trying to go to the snake on the break. Looks like the second player makes it out alive, but Boothby getting shot out of that snake corner. One body, another body goes down. out of the middle for Penn State. 4 bodies alive, but into the 50 Dorito goes Zach Johnson for Penn State. Deans on into the snake. Penn State into the 50. Here comes Deans right away. Make quits work of him. He's going to have the whole snake all to himself. He's going to be able to turn as a major penalty gets thrown, but not before Deans blows up the last Penn State player.
Black, hang it, hang it, hang it.
So now the door opens for Fresno State. Major penalty on Penn State. So this is going to put Fresno State on the power play here, and they scored the point. So it's going to be tied at 1 apiece, but unfortunately for Penn State, they are going to be playing down a body for the next couple minutes. Here's the penalty on the replay. Well, actually, no, this is on the snake side. Here comes a run from Fresno State. Excellent execution. As you see, there's Penn State. Gets right in there, and then bam, he gets run down. So let's check out the penalty here on Penn State. Referee running in there, looking at the hit, and yep, goes for that red flag, throws it in the air, and then goes and pulls his buddy up front. So decimating the attack, that penalty on that D side of the field, Todd.
Yeah, good job right there by Deans, recognizing just as he slides into the snake, he saw the Penn State player go as well, instantly came up, recognized it. No bodies left alive on the snake side of the field, and then grabbing that major penalty is going to be huge for Fresno State right now, as you know, they're going to have 1:58 left on that penalty, so a lot of time to work with. Yeah, so we're going to see what's going to happen here with the Fresno State attack. How are they going to run it here, playing 5-on-4?
What were your favored moves there when you guys were down bodies on a and forced to play with 4 players?
Well, I really like that the temple in the middle. I still feel that, you know, you want to vary your game plans on the Dorito side between just turning and shooting from the flag station on that Dorito side, or charging up to that tall tower, shooting straight ahead, because you have great lanes on that Dorito side to shoot runners out, and still just maintaining control of the snake over here, because again, we've seen players get up on that Dorito side, but as long as you're in control of the snake, I feel like you always have an opportunity to win. You know, and on this field, as we see Deans get up here into the snake again, and Penn State grabbing another major.
Oh, not looking good for Penn State early on here. 2 players in the box. Deans in the snake for Fresno State, but he gets taken out. So this, yeah, and also tons of players walking off as Boothby comes off for Fresno. 2 more players come off. Oh, but Fresno was able to make it to the 50-yard line D side, and that might be the difference here. He chops up 2 bodies, and you can see Guerrero was angry and frustrated that it looked like they might have been able to win this point. But no, the last player left alive for Fresno State clocks in, and he is able to almost tips over the flag station, but runs it in. Good work from him over there, Todd. He got 2 kills out of there.
Yeah, and he's lucky. Sometimes it pays to be lucky, but those Penn State players came charging down the field, and he was able to pick them off one by one. So there you see the major getting called. There's the player getting pulled. And then here on the run, getting shot coming into the snake. I mean, he could have slow played that with no bodies over there on the snake side for Fresno State and burnt some of the penalties off, but he came in, got shot in the goggles. And not a smart play right there for Penn State. Had plenty of opportunities. Those 3 guys, it was basically a 3-on-1, you know? So, you know, in a 3-on-1 situation, and you have 2 major penalties, the thing to do is hunker down in your bunker and just sit there and wait and let that one player sit in the 50 Dorito and try and figure out where he's going to try and get a kill from, burn those penalties off.
Yeah, so we got ourselves a close match here. 2-1 is the score. Fresno State, though, looking solid with Penn State getting all those penalties. Also, help support college paintball. We got the 2014 NCPA championship shirts. Go to ncpapaintball.com, purchase one, and help progress college paintball forward. Also, we got the webcast of the PSP coming at you May 2nd through the 4th, and that's going to be an awesome event, too. So, you know, lots of awesome things happen in paintball, but we need your support. So let's check in with the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Amy Campbell. She's down in the pits with Penn State.
Yeah, Maddie, clearly they're not happy about that last penalty. They're trying to not get frustrated, but one of their guys came off and said, guys, penalties is the only way that we can lose this game. And that was something they had mentioned before the game. They know they have a lot more guys than Fresno State, and they don't want to lose that depth. They don't want to get those penalties, guys.
Penalties kill you every time. And you can fight through them, and that's what Penn State's going to have to do. But you got to shoot players off the break. In order to fight through penalties, you got to shoot players off the break. That's the way to do it. And it doesn't look like Penn State was able to get anybody off the break, so it's 5-on-3. But, Todd, they didn't die off the break, so that's big, too.
Yeah, definitely big for them. Oseguera over there on the inside Dorito for Fresno State, though. He's going to have a lot of space to work with Zach Johnson being the only body on the Dorito side in that little pin, trying to just stay alive. He's going to book out of there right now and get shot. As the Snake Temple gets shot as well. Here comes Chase Bauer down the middle of the field, and Fresno State, Boothby gonna run and grab that flag and run it in. Got to keep an eye on the clock. Still 30 seconds on that first major. So Fresno State right now grabbing another point as the referee gives Boothby one last check.
So if you're a Fresno State fan, this is exactly what you wanted to happen. Penalties on Penn State, 2 guys still in the box for them. They're waiting to get out, try to help their team. 27 seconds on one, a little over a minute on the other. Let's check out this replay here. That's Penn State in there, just not able to stay alive. Gets a bunch of extra bonus balls too. And then here you can see there's Fresno State. We're looking at it from the D side of the field. Look at the full field attack here. Not looking at a lot of bodies, as you can see, top left-hand portion of your screen. Penn State's 2 guys stuck in the box.
Yeah, there's Bauer right there up on the left side of the A, wheeling and dealing just as they shoot Zach Johnson out. Here they come down. So it's going to be a 3-1 lead. 6:15 to go. Penn State playing with 3 bodies. 2 bodies sitting in the penalty box. 27 seconds till the next one gets out. If you are Fresno State, you want to make sure to try and get a kill on the break and get in position to shoot those bodies as they come out of the box. Sending in Henley.
Todd, what do you do when you have 3 players to work with? And I mean, I know it's tough. You're looking at 5-on-3, but do you have specific game plans for that, or do you just kind of figure out, kind of dictating, or based on the game plan with 3 bodies based on what the other team's been doing that game, or do you have set plays for, you know, those 3-on-5 situations?
You try never to be in a 3-on-5 situation.
Or do you just take your clipboard as the coach and smash all the players in the head to teach them not to stop getting penalties?
Yeah, that's exactly what you do.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So here we go. On the breakout, Penn State, 3 players alive for them, and they only have two guns up. They lose one of them, so this is going to open the door. Oh, they do shoot 1, though, for Fresno State. So,
yeah.
Shoot 1 body, so it's 4-on-2 right now.
Yeah, they risk that body just to make sure to get a kill. And Penn State.
That might be another penalty.
Oh, lucky not to get another penalty.
That could very easily have been a minor right there, Todd.
So Boothby putting himself in position to shoot the box, and he does, right in the eyeball, coming out, but still one more penalty coming out in the next 10 seconds. 1 body left alive on the field. Boothby shoots him, but here comes the next player out of the box. Gonna want to just make sure to shoot him as he comes out and win the point.
Yeah, you can't actually see, you see how he stutter step right there? You can't actually do that. You have to have forward progression because you can't stop behind the out of bounds. You're basically out of bounds. You're out of bounds until you move about a foot forward out of that box. So Penn State getting chewed up again, but good news for them. They finally get their bodies back. They will be starting with 5. They were lucky they didn't get another minor penalty on that point right there.
So 4-1 lead once Fresno State hangs this flag.
You're looking at the bodies pulling out of the box for Penn State. There was number 1. And here's, actually that was the first one coming out. There was the other angle. Gets just nice accuracy from Fresno State. Double tapping his goggles and then just dropping the next player to come out for Fresno State, or for Penn State. It was Del Ponzo, or Pozo. Yeah, Del Pozo. So here we go, 4 minutes and 55 seconds to go. 4-1 is the score, but Penn State finally at full strength. So now they're gonna need to score 3 points here to try to tie this game up. And we're gonna be right back after this. So Todd, you know, the question is this game as good as we thought it was going to be? I'm going to go with no, just because so many penalties on Penn State. Really haven't seen, you know, really what they have to offer so far. But when you get two evenly matched teams and one team gets a lot of penalties, the other team's going to run the score up.
I'm going to go with not yet.
Okay.
Because, you know, Penn State is the type of team that is going to come fighting back over here. You know, they had a little bit of trouble yesterday in the beginning with Tennessee. And, you know, Tennessee tried to fight back a little bit, but Penn State was able to, you know, kind of stay in the game and then, you know, keep extending their lead and, you know, eventually, you know, run away with it. But, you know, Tennessee, you know, they were a decent team, put up a good fight yesterday. So, you know, I expect to see Penn State coming out full force back with their 5 guys again on the attack over here. And there goes Zach Johnson right up the middle of the field right away. And they get a shot in on Deans and Boothby.
And a major penalty on Fresno State.
So this is exactly what we figured might happen.
Game just got a lot more interesting right now.
Game definitely got more interesting. And that is going to do it.
So Zach Johnson running that flag in for Penn State as quickly as possible to preserve as much of that penalty. 1 minute, 51 seconds on that penalty. 4:31 to play here in this first half. So we're looking at this penalty right here. I'm not sure if it was on, yeah, it was on that guy. So, you know, Fresno State shooting themselves in the foot right here. And as they ran up a bunch of points on their own, on their power play, now Penn State will be on a power play here for a good portion of the rest of the first half. Still, a lot of penalties, man.
Yeah, really tough to fight.
We've really only seen, I think, the game yesterday afternoon. I think it was West Point Black Knights and Central Florida Knights. That was a pretty clean game. Other than that, that was pretty much it. We had 8 full games yesterday. 8 full games today, too. We're into the 4th game right now. Next up after a quick lunch break is going to be Temple University Owls taking on Cal State University Long Beach 49ers.
Yeah, that should be a good game as well. I mean, Temple had a decent game yesterday. Thought they played some pretty good paintball.
Yeah, Temple got the bye in because they won their division. They lost to the Florida Atlantic Owls. And Florida Atlantic beat the Liberty University Flames. So Florida Atlantic will play in, yeah, so it'll be.
Yeah, that was that Temple played that overtime game.
Yep.
Against FAU. You know, 4-4 going into halftime. End up losing 5-4 in overtime. But you know, Isgro was out there doing work. Beelman, Nick Frayne for Temple University on the breakout now. 4 bodies.
There's 3 teams here that have Owls as mascot.
Oh, Penn State loses a body over off the Dorito side of that pin. Looks like Bauer gets bounced going up in the middle. Dean's getting shot out of that Dorito or snake side corner. Penn State sending a body again all the way up to the A on the break.
I think that's Zach Johnson again. Yeah, little Zach Johnson's up there balling out and doing a good job. If you get up to that A and no one's out on the D side, you really can shut that side of the field down and then start wrapping around the center, which is exactly what he's doing, trying to get a shot on the man on your screen right there. He gets taken out crossfield though. So Penn State doing work here on their power play. They're trying to make this a 1-point game. Looks like they're going to do it. Zach Johnson grabbing that flag. Nice work. Zach Johnson getting up there in the center. And how that play works is you send that runner all the way up, hoping that he's going to shoot on the run the player that's progressing up the D side of the field. If he can do that and he gets there alive, then he can do exactly what he's doing right now. Control that lane, wrap around, and start getting kills. And then, yeah, so solid work, Zach Johnson.
Yeah, he went up to the snake side of the A last point, or 2 points ago. Last point goes up to the Dorito side of the A, and you know, getting the job done. I think he actually bounced Bauer on the way up there, and then ends up shooting Bauer before he came through. But Penn State, you know, 2 points in a row after Fresno had that 4-1 lead. Now just a 1-point game, 4-3. Interesting half here. So 3:43 left to go. See how it's going to play out. We'll be right back after this.
They say don't be perfect, be clutch. Being clutch is one of my biggest assets. You can rely on me to be clutch, and I rely on the vanquish. My name is Damian Ryan. I play for Team Infamous, and the vanquish takes my game to another level.
So, looks like a timeout is called. So it looks like Fresno State calling a timeout. And still 1 minute and 3 seconds left on that major penalty that they got. So Penn State is going to try to tie this game up here, still on the power play. Todd, one of the cool things that we've seen is the diversity of plays that Penn State is willing to run. Penn State is willing to run lots of different looks, and I think that could play in their factor here. Fresno State, even though they're on a timeout, they're going to have to play a guessing game, figure out where Penn State's going to be going off the break. So while we got a timeout, we're going to take another quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Lakeland, Florida. We've got a great battle going on between Penn State and Fresno State. And the Fresno State pit just now, they're telling me they're tired. They've only got 7 guys. They're struggling with the heat, just trying not to throw up and make it to halftime. But over in the Penn State pit, those guys are throwing up, even though they have a lot more guys to rotate in. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this half plays out, guys.
Well, I don't know, Amy, if you've ever spent any time in Fresno, but I have. And anyone that lives in Fresno is very, very used to playing in some crazy heat. So that is one of the hottest places in California. So Central Valley, California, where we grow a lot of the nation's food, also loves to hit triple digits. So these guys are used to playing in heat. So even though they are getting tired, and but they have less guys than Penn State, they're used to this type of environment. It's not that hot today, though, but these guys are just running point after point, Todd.
Yeah, and Penn State right now just annihilating the Dorito side on the break. And then Boothby getting shot over here on the Snake side for Fresno State. So tons of bodies walking off. I think they only got 1 left, and it's Deans as he's going to get shot out at the Snake on the trade out. So that penalty just killing Fresno State right now.
Well, that's been the story of this game. Penn State got penalties. Fresno State ran up the score. Then Fresno throws it right back. Hey, guys, all right, well, you spotted us a few. We're going to spot you a few. So they got their own major, and Penn State has been making quick work of them while they're on the power play. Still 3 minutes and 11 seconds to go in this first half. A lot of points scored in this first half, Todd, as it's tied up 4-4.
Yeah, and, you know, on this replay right here, here's Deans. He's the last body. He's going to get ran down. And just happy to get out of there. Could have gotten it from multiple locations. But, you know, now that it's a tie ball game, Fresno State only has 30 seconds left on their major penalty. Fresno State has to come away in this next point, getting that body out of the box. And then, you know, try and even it up here. If Fresno State can get a kill on the break, 2 times now in a row, they've ran Chase Bauer up to that tall temple on the break, and he's gotten chewed up by the player going out to the Dorito side for Penn State. So maybe hang back a little bit. Don't try and charge up there right away, as Penn State has locked in on that shot. But Osegueda, you know, we saw him getting it done over there for Fresno State yesterday. Henley as well. I'm not exactly sure who's in the box, but Venegas is coming back out again, or, you know, coming out for, I think, the first time this match for Fresno State. Try and give one of his guys a breather. Probably Deans. Yeah, Deans is in the pits right now. He's going to get a breather before coming back out. Maybe give him, you know, a break.
Well, that's the tough thing, you know, in a do-or-die position, tied up, you're down a body. You have no other choice but really keep putting your starters out there. So even though they have 2 extra guys, you know, it's do or die time, man. You kind of got to just run your guys until the wheels fall off, regardless, puking, ready to pass out. It doesn't matter, man. They really got to just get it done. So Fresno State trying to even this up. They do shoot 1, but they lose 1 as well. So it's 3-on-4 right now, but Penn State is in the snake, and his coach right over his shoulder telling him exactly where Fresno State is.
Zach Johnson gets worn out right in the face, making that bump across to the Dorito. Doing work over there.
That's gonna,
on the Dorito side. Fresno State now attacking.
And just tearing people to bits over there, Todd.
Yeah, gets another kill out of that middle. Just the 50 snake now for Penn State and the snake corner. 2 bodies, 3 bodies left alive as they get their body out of the box. Fresno State, 3 bodies over here on the snake side. 1 body on the Dorito side. Oh, and looks like there must have been a trade out as that Dorito player gets shot, but the snake corner gets shot. So just the 50 snake for Penn State.
Yeah, Todd not looking good here for the last player for Penn State. Fresno State clearing the field on the D side of the field, wrapping around, finally able to progress all the way into the yellow zone for Penn State, and solid work. Fresno State able to fight through that body deficit that they had, and now go up 1 against Penn State. Both teams will be at full strength. Only probably about 140, 142. Yeah, 142 going to be left, 141 left in this first half.
Osagueta coming through the middle, filling out from the snake side and closing that game out. Here's the last body in the 50 snake. Guerrieri turns to the inside, doesn't know Osagueta's behind him, and then gets blown to bits.
Well, Guerrieri has been doing a real good job of actually getting to that spot, but when you're in the 50 snake, when you're in any front bunker, particularly the 50 snake, because you have to lay down to get as small as possible or tuck in. And if you're in that spot and everyone dies around you, he's lucky he even had a coach to tell him that that's happening. Sometimes, you know, in the PSP, you don't have a coach there to tell you, so you just get worn to bits. Anyway, minute and 41 to go here in this first half. 5-4 is the score. Fresno State up on Penn State. We'll be right back. So can Penn State tie up this match here before we head into halftime? Or is it going to be Fresno State taking another one? Definitely enough time for one of these teams to score a point. We could even see 2 points depending on how many kills come off the break. So here we go. Fresno State top of your screen, Penn State bottom of your screen.
And all the way to the snake on the break. Deans is going to get in there first. Look to get his kill across the field. Gets one. Penn State in there as well. Collision course. Smashing each other, breaking paint on each other. Both walk off the field. Penn State loses another body off the snake side. Just 2 left alive. Make that 1. Zach Johnson all alone now in that can as Chase Bauer standing right by the flag, wrapping around. He's got tons of help. He's got Boothby. He's got Osagueta. And there he comes as Chase Bauer going to trade out with Zach Johnson. So little momentum shift there.
Well, hey,
for Fresno State.
Todd, when you have 2 evenly matched teams fighting it out, it's about breaking the will of your opponent, slowly but surely. So, you know, we've seen this a pretty close game here, but Fresno State, as we're a minute away from halftime, bam, look at those guys running into each other. A little physical contact there. See it from the other side. But when you have the snake battle this close, little shoulder check, no big deal. No harm, no foul.
A little friendly tap.
Yeah, a little friendly, little pound afterwards too. So they just acknowledging each other's work there in the snake. Hey, good job, bro. Good job. Little pound.
Good job.
Anyway, but like I was saying, when it's a tie game, 1-point game, super close, you have a whole second half, you want to, like you said, steal that momentum before you head into halftime, so the other team has to sit there and think, God, we're down 2. Oh, this is really close. These guys are getting in the good spots. We really got to turn it up. So, but good work by Fresno State that last point.
Yeah, Fresno State, shooting those bodies on the break, or shoot that one body on the break. Deans get in there right away to the 50, gets his kill. Another body drops. Good execution, good end game right there by Fresno State. And, with that momentum swing, after winning that point 4-on-5, and then getting out of the box, getting back to full strength, able to take a 2-point lead right now with just 1:07 left to go. We'll see, Penn State did a really good job, won 2 points in a row with Zach Johnson attacking up the middle. I wouldn't be surprised in this situation if they get him going back up the middle again, try and get a quick point. Won those points really, really fast. It's an effective play, whether there's 4 guys in the field or 5 guys on the field. When you have a weapon like Zach Johnson, who's a small target to shoot, then, you can use him in various ways.
So here we go. Both teams at full strength, 5 strong. 1 minute left, and big move to the center and off and into the snake for Penn State. So Penn State, 5 bodies alive. They're in really good field position. They have to score a quick point. That is why they made that move all the way up to the center. They're shutting the D side of the field down. Fresno State they're peeling the Fresno State bodies off that D side too. Fresno State, though, they have Deans in the 50 snake, so he is going to be able to stop the attack on that D side of the field as long as at least a couple guys stay alive around him, because that hammer will get dropped pretty soon.
Deans gets his 2nd kill, but not after the Dorito side of Penn State gets 2 kills. Deans is going to stand up, get a 3rd kill out of the snake.
So Deans saving it right now for Fresno State. Looked like Penn State was going to take it, but Dean's still alive. He's got to be careful in here, though.
Yeah, Dean's got Boothby, but Zach Johnson is alone over on the Dorito side for Penn State. 1 body over here for Penn State on the snake side as Johnson jumps into the 50 Dorito.
That's
but Boothby.
Johnson on your screen right now.
Boothby there just protecting Deans. Boothby might want to take a look on the inside, make sure he's protected from Johnson over there in the 50 Dorito. It's a 2-on-2 right now.
Yeah, not going to be enough
is
time.
going to run out. So I really think that Deans saved that game right there for Fresno State.
100% he saved that game. Fresno State was just getting bodies, dropping hard on that D side of the field. Good aggressive push and good off the break shooting by Penn State to dominate the action over there. But then, bam, Dean steps up, gets 2 quick Gs, 2 quick kills, and really saves the point for Fresno State, maintaining the 2-point lead that they're going to have.
Yeah, going into halftime, Fresno State's got to be happy with the way that this turned out after getting that lead early and then letting it come back. So, 2-point lead going into halftime now. Fresno State going to go back and talk about, or actually take this time to get some water, get their wits about them, get relaxed here, take this little 5-minute break. There you see Deans going to work as he pops up and gets his 3rd kill in that last point. Penn State going to go into this halftime, talk about what worked, what didn't work, focus on not getting penalties.
Well, let's check in with Amy Campbell. She's got Matt Deans down in Fresno's pit.
I do have Matt Deans, and you're here, you're huffing and puffing a little bit. How tired are you guys right now?
Oh, we're not tired at all. We're mentally hungry, we're physically hungry, we're ready to go. Not tired at all.
So you're
overcoming
this depth issue you got going on here.
Absolutely. Depth is not an issue. We think it was an advantage.
An advantage. All right, so I know they're feeling very confident with all the guys that they have rotating in and out. What's your plan of attack moving forward in the second half to keep this lead?
Keep pushing, keep trading out with that snake guy. Just got to keep shutting them down. Best thing we can do. I mean, we only got 7 guys, which allows us to get more experience, more games played against Penn State. They can keep rotating guys out, but that just means they don't know what we're doing.
So you're feeling confident?
Absolutely.
All right, best of luck in the second half, guys.
Well, that's the man that just saved that last point there for Fresno State. Matt Dean stepping it up for his team. They have a 2-point lead heading in to the second half. We'll be back with more second half action. Do not go anywhere.
The Empire Elite Vanquish comes with a pressure-balanced spool valve, a precision sensor for on-screen readout with no gauge, an OLED display with super bright 2000:1 contrast ratio, push-button bolt removal for quick maintenance, and a Super Freak barrel kit with 5 inserts. More information about this marker is available on the product page at empirepaintball.com.
Welcome back to Lakeland, Florida at the National Collegiate Paintball Championships. Penn State trailing 6-4 at the half to Fresno State. And in the Penn State pitch just now, they're talking about Fresno State saying, guys, they have to be getting tired. They don't have as many guys as we do, and focusing on their mistakes. And finally, one guy just said, guys, let's focus on ourselves. We need to play our paintball instead of worrying about what they're doing wrong. So look for that in the second half, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to focus on your own skills, your own tactics, your own strategies first. And yeah, it's smart to also do your homework, scout the team you're going to play, and also inner game. Okay, so like Matt Dean's right now having a game over here in Snakeside, so they got to shut Matt Dean's down. But yes, they definitely need to focus on themselves first. They're down 2 points right now, Todd.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the question that you ask yourself. You know, do we want to really try and adjust? I mean, you always have to adjust to what the other team's doing in game, but to start the game off, start the half off, you just got to be like, this is what we're confident in doing. This is how we know we're going to be successful. This is how we're going to win games. Go out and execute your game.
Oh, look at this battle here. Now Penn State, the aggressor, on the Snake side of the field, and they go and clear out Matt Deans. So Matt Deans was saying that you got to just clear the guy out. At least he traded with Penn State, though, so the Snake now completely open, but Penn State losing bodies. There's a body on the D side. They still have Zach Johnson over there. Zach Johnson takes a face full.
Ooh, Osageta just laces up Zach Johnson standing in that Dorito right there. Just one body left alive, and Chase Bauer coming to get him, but he gets picked apart.
Just running into the gun, man. You got to, if you have multiple, if you're up multiple bodies, you cannot just run down the field. You got to run down you just have to run it down smart, like Boothby just did right now.
Yep.
So Boothby blocked out the Snake 1 player for Penn State. He kept it tight right on the inside part of that Snake, closest to the center of the field. Ran a tight line and then executed that last Penn State player. Good job by Boothby to get it done. Fresno State going to go up 1 more point here.
Yeah, Fresno State, way to start the half. You know, if you're a Fresno State fan over there, Penn State fans, here's going to be that exchange again. You know, good job by Deans by looking to get his kills while he has the opportunity. But as soon as it becomes time to make sure to trade out, we've seen too many players get in there,
completely
commit to shooting on the inside and get bunkered in the back and then get a spitting penalty. Good job by Deans to get in there, get whatever shots he can before he trades out, but make sure that you trade out. So,
and I think he did get a kill across the field.
Yeah, and if you're a Penn State fan, you know, you got to be like, hey guys, you know, it's time for us to start getting back in this game. We cannot let this lead grow any farther. 3 points, you know, to a Fresno State team that's playing really well. You know, we got to put a point on this board. You know, but it is the only very first point of this half. So, you know, plenty of time. 8:55 left to go. That was only a 1-minute point. But, you know, I still like, you know, if I'm Penn State, I'm sending Zach Johnson up the middle. You know, they've had a lot of success, you know, getting in there and getting kills on the break. It's the guys around it that need to play off of that move, need to do a better job.
Yeah, Zach Johnson's definitely a killer. When I talked to Rob Ortiz, their coach, he said, he's like, yeah, you know, we got this new kid, Zach Johnson, plays D2 in the PSP, and we think he's going to be a really great player for us. And I'm like, okay, well, where does he play? How am I going to know what head wrap does he wear? He's like, oh, you'll know who he is. And I'm like, what do you mean? Why is he going to be shooting everybody? He's like, he's going to be shooting everybody, but he's also about 4 foot tall. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, cool. The little rocket on Penn State, Zach Johnson. He's been playing great, man. Played great event. A lot of guys on Penn State stepping up, though. Right now, though, they need a little bit more. because Fresno is just holding off their onslaught and doing a good job of it. So now 5 strong for both teams to see if they can play clean here in the second half, doubling up that center. Here comes Penn State. They got a guy on both sides of that center and doing some work, decimating the D side for Fresno, and this is Penn State's chance. They got a really good break here. Let's see if they can do something with it. But it's one thing to get to the 50. Now getting past that 50-yard line is a lot harder. Here comes Zach Johnson, launches up the center. He gets 1, he gets 2. Amazing work from Zach Johnson for Penn State. Todd, that's the run through we've been waiting all tournament to see. Man, gets himself a 2-pack to close out this point.
Yeah, he set that play up for himself by shooting Boothby, running out to the snake side corner. Both games that Zach Johnson has gone up the middle, shooting towards the snake side on the break. He has shot Boothby, but here you watch him on the launch, comes through, shoots the first guy, switches hands, shoots the second guy, closes the game out for Penn State. Not enough time to switch hands for Zach Shaver right there as he gets bunkered. About the same size as Zach Johnson on his knees.
Yeah.
You know,
little Zach Johnson balling.
We have a guy that's that small. You know, it makes him such a hard target. You know, and when you're running up the middle, the guys that shoot the guys running up the middle are the guys that are running out wide. And you know, when you have such a small target, it's hard to hit guys like that.
Yeah, and there's Zach Johnson with that beautiful pitcher-perfect run through. We're going to be right back after this. The score 5-7 in favor of Fresno State. Got ourselves a 2-point game right now. Fresno State still up on Penn State. The winner of this game will advance to take on the UConn Huskies. If it's Fresno State has already beat the Huskies in this event in the prelims, so that would be a mental edge for them. Penn State, man, they looked really good that last point, and so glad to finally see a team utilize that center the way that it can be done. And the thing is that how many times can you go and do that run that play until teams start switching their guns? But when they do, that's great. Again, another option, because any gun that goes to the center is going to come off the snake side, come off the D side, and let you get out wide.
Exactly. Let's see what happens here. There they go up again, up the middle, shooting Dorito side. Do they get a kill? Oh, Bauer's checking himself.
He made it out. He made it in there clean, though. So if you can make it in there clean, it's going to help shut down that D side. No one in the yellow zone on the D side of the field. Oh, but he gets torn apart. Actually, so he lost the gunfight. He made it in clean, but loses the gunfight by the player. The back corner bunker on Fresno State wrapping around. Gets a good shot on him.
Oh, and Fresno State loses a body off the snake side corner and one off the Dorito side. So 3 bodies now off the field for Penn State. One of them crawls around, gets into the snake. Dorito side can, but Fresno State, Bulldogs getting hungry over there on the Dorito side. Looking to attack. Here comes Bauer again in the middle. Bauer doing a good job this game, utilizing the middle of that field. You know, once he gets to his spot alive. And oh, Fresno State is going to get a major as Fresno State runs down the last Dorito player exchange. So it is a one-on-one. I believe it's going to be Deans.
So Deans
for Fresno State.
Deans needs to just chill out right now. Try to suck as much of that penalty off, but Deans doesn't know the count, and Penn State doesn't know the count too.
Oh no, it's a 2-on-1. I'm sorry. Boothby is still alive over here in the snake corner as well.
Okay, well that's really good for Penn State then, because if with the 2 players on the snake side, Boothby and Deans, what they're going to be able to do for Fresno State is suck all that major penalty off, take all that time off, and Penn State might even want to think about blowing the horn right now. Tough thing is you're going to get, because it's going to be, regardless, you're going to lose the point. Unless your player can get 2 quick kills, which is going to be really hard from Snake 1. So yeah, you should blow the horn, preserve that penalty, and to be able to get on a power play, because now he's just going to get run down. So see, if they had already blown the horn at this point, they would have lost the point anyway, and they'd have a lot more time on that penalty. So finally they can see the point right now, 1 minute and 11 seconds left on that Fresno. So great job by Fresno State. They did get a penalty, but able to keep enough bodies alive to make it count.
Yeah, and if you're a Fresno State, you know, no need to go running those players down. You know, sit in your spot. I mean, you can rest while sitting in your spot.
Yeah.
You know, if they need to get your breather, sit there, wait, let the penalty roll out. You know, make Penn State blow that horn, make Penn State think about it. I mean, obviously they waited, and here he is up in the A making that move, but does not get the kill on the break, and then just loses that gun battle. And there's Guerrieri again in the snake, and he's going to be the last body alive for Penn State. And here comes Boothby. And Boothby's just going to give it to Guerrieri, laying on the ground right there.
You know, Todd, I'm glad that you brought up the point that when you're in that situation like that, though you're still playing, you actually can rest a little bit. You're not mentally resting, because mentally you're still putting all the variables together, trying to figure out what you need to do. But if you get a beat in the game, a lot of time when people first start playing paintball, they'll notice they're like, wow, I didn't really run far. I ran 40 feet to my bunker, dove in, and then I spent time in the bunker, and then the point ended, but I'm out of breath. Well, the reason you're out of breath is because you weren't really breathing properly while you were out there playing, because you're not even thinking about it. So you're taking short, panic breaths or not breathing rhythmically. And so when you kind of learn that next level of it, you know, you can actually, it's all about oxygen, man. The more oxygen you get to your blood, into your bloodstream, the more stamina you're going to have. So, you know, deep belly breaths, not, you know, short chest breaths, is really going to play a factor. And that's tough to do because these packs these guys are wearing, they actually compress your belly. So it's really tough to get those, you know, where your stomach comes out first and then your chest comes out. A lot of people don't even think about that when they're playing, but if you're Fresno and you're running a limited skeleton crew, stuff like that will play a factor, especially if they continue to put points up, win this game, and move on in this tournament. So with that timeout here, 6 minutes 24 to go, Fresno State 3-point lead. We'll be right back after this.
Being confident on the field is key in being successful. Every snapshot, every lane, every gun battle, it all matters. Having equipment that allows me to play confident in the best of my abilities is huge. Spacing and texture of the Vanquish grips are ideal for handling in every situation. It's a soft shooting, hit every shot you take kind of marker. My name is Drew Templeton, I play for Team Infamous, and the Vanquish takes my game to another level.
Welcome back to Lakeland, Florida at the National Collegiate Paintball Championships. Penn State down 8-3 right now to Fresno State, but they're getting really fired up in their pit right now. They know they can take advantage of a major penalty, and their coach just reminded their guys, what happened last time we had a major penalty? We scored 3 points. This is our time. We can do it now. So keep an eye on them to go, guys.
Well, you know, you can talk about it all you want, but right now Penn State down 3 points. They're going to have to dig deep here. They only have 6 minutes and 24 seconds left in this match to advance in this tournament. Whereas Fresno State sitting on that 3-point lead, though Fresno State, they still have 1 minute and 11 seconds on that penalty. This is Penn State's chance right here. This is Penn State's chance to run up some points and try to make it count. About to see a couple seconds before the breakout. Fresno State bottom of your screen, Penn State on the top. Now Fresno State looking on their screen right now. Fresno State trying to push out here on the D side of the field. You see heavy guns trying to put a lot of pressure, controlling their lanes. And here comes a run through. Zach Johnson again. Zach Johnson wheeling and dealing. I think he still hasn't been shot. Finally gets taken out. Zach Johnson really utilizing the center of that field well, looking like a master out there right now.
Zach Johnson ran underneath, ran up to the A as, Boothby, I'll get to that in a second. Boothby cuts down 2 bodies as it's a 4-on-1. Boothby shoots 2 of them. Now it is just a 2-on-1. This is one of those situations where you've got to go smart. Can't just go running down the field. Zach Johnson makes a brilliant move. Penn State can't throw it away.
Yeah, they haven't capitalized on it yet. They do have great field position here. Oh, they shoot Boothby out of the back corner bunker on the snake side. And now Penn State running that flag in. 12 seconds left on the Fresno State penalty.
Okay, so good job right there by Penn State to close out that game and run it in before Fresno State can get out of the game. But Zach Johnson runs up to the A on the break, shoots out the snake side corner. As soon as he sees that, leans underneath the A, shoots the guy out of the can, then runs through, standing on his feet, bunkers the guy he just shot in the pack, and then bunkers the guy next to him, and then turns around and bunkers Osagieta again. If Zach Johnson had just come through, ran right by Osagieta, he could have shot the second guy and probably turned and shot Boothby. But, I mean, he lit up Osagieta in the pack from underneath the A. Good job of Zach Johnson knowing that that shot is there, and then being short enough to run full speed underneath the A, bunker Osagieta, bunker the next guy, and then turn around. I don't know why he turned around and shot Osagieta again. He already shot him twice. Could have turned and had a shot on Boothby. You know, Zach Johnson has shown that he's skilled enough to switch hands as he's on the move. Probably could have closed that whole game out right there. Would have got himself a 4-pack.
Yeah, so he's going to have to stay with that 3-pack there. 3 kills. Awesome job by Zach Johnson. 5 minutes, 25 seconds to go. 2-point game, and still 12 seconds left on that Fresno State penalty. Now, you might not think that's not much time left on that penalty. They're going to get that body back pretty quick. But where it really comes into play is off the break, man. That's 20% of your firepower off the break, and we've seen off the break shooting on this layout, on every layout. Off the break shooting is a huge part of paintball. That's how you can score those quick points. So when you're on your Penn State, you're on that power play, you're only looking at 4 guns. You can be a little bit looser with the game plans, take a little bit more ground, but you got to be careful, because if Fresno State could turn the tables here, get an off the break shot of their own, then they will even the body count up, and with that 2-point lead, you know, that's Penn State's really going to have to work this power play, man, and make the most of it. They only really could do it here off the break. So let's check it out. Tense moments here. 5 minutes, 25 seconds to go.
Charging up to the Dorito side of the A. Oh, Penn State, just as they're about to get their body back. Osagieta is going to get a major running to that Dorito corner. Bauer's going to come out of the box, but he's going to be by himself. Osagieta got to run to the box, get in there. Penn State loses a body up the middle, though.
Loses
and
2
Bauer
bodies.
gets shot, but Penn State now in the 50 snake. Dean's in snake 1. He's going to be the only body over here right now. Going to want to try and burn some of this time off. If you're Penn State, get on your horse. Go get Dean's trade out and then run that flag in. Oh, and Dean's gets it on the trade out. So Penn State going to want to run and go grab that flag, hang it as quick as possible.
So just when Fresno State got their body back, another major penalty assessed on them. So they're really letting Penn State try to get back in this match. We have a 1-point game now. And tons of time with a 1-point game. 4:35 on the clock, minute 29 on that major penalty. Let's look at this. There's Dean in snake 1. You can see his head gets blown to bits. Nice job by Penn State here to take out the thorn in their side. Deans, who's done a great job playing on the snake side for Fresno State. But Fresno State slowly letting this game slip away here by getting penalties. And man, it's an often told story here. Lots of penalties assessed this event.
Yeah, man. Especially going to that Dorito corner.
Yeah, that Dorito corner, we've seen a ton of red flags on that side. So with a minute 14 to go before the start of this next point, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Time starting to run out here in the second half in this Fresno State versus Penn State matchup. Fresno State still with a 1-point lead. We have seen some awesome up the center play by Zach Johnson from Penn State to help get his team back in this match. There he is, a good head shorter than the rest of the boys on his team, but he really makes his size count out there. You know, he's just been a weapon for them. He's been all over the field too, playing the D side, playing up in the center. So now on the flip side, there's Fresno State. They're down a body off the break here. Still a decent amount of time on that penalty. Fresno State, bottom of your screen, Penn State top. There goes Zach Johnson up the center again. And Dean's all the way into the snake for Fresno State. And he's gonna wrap around and just start destroying the center. But he gets shot as well too, gets bunkered out as well. Bodies dropping for Penn State, bodies drop for Fresno as well too, Todd.
Yeah, lucky for Fresno State. They were able to get that body on the 50 snake. Oh, Penn State had the opportunity to get into the 50 snake, but gets shot in the goggles from, I believe, Bauer in the center of the field, and then Penn State loses another body. Coach Ortiz yelling at the Penn State pit to blow the horn, as Fresno State still has a minute left on their penalty, but able to come out and get a couple kills right away. And then, oh man, Penn State loses a couple gun battles and kind of almost throws that point away. There you see Zach Johnson on the break, on the run, coming up the middle. Does not get the kill this time on Boothby going out to the corner, and then comes into that temple on the snake side of the A. And then Deans comes out and just ropes Zach Johnson square in the face. And then right when he does that, the player from Penn State comes around the 50, bunkers Deans, who's already dead, and gets shot. So unfortunate turn of events right there for Penn State. You know, if he could have had that body alive, but even with that body walking off, Penn State still had one more body on that snake side. If he could have filtered into the snake quicker instead of getting shot shooting at the Dorito side, Penn State still might have had an opportunity to win that point right there.
Well, there's Coach Rob Ortiz from Penn State talking to his
they're
players.
not hitting snake. They're not hitting snakes.
And he's trying to get, figure out the next game plan here. They got a little under a minute to get things together, get his next crew out there to play this point. Fresno State still 55 seconds left on that major penalty, and they've played, the past about 4 minutes, or played 3 minutes and 5 seconds down a body, really just spotting a body to Penn State out the break. Penn State making the most of it mostly, but Fresno State, kind of in that last game we saw, Todd, with West Point and Akron, is that, West Point was just a little bit better than Akron. Akron kept trying to fight back. They kept trying to get in the match. But West Point wouldn't let them do it, and Fresno State's kind of doing the same thing to Penn State right now.
Yeah, I mean, just keeping just enough space to feel comfortable. Penn State on your screen right there. There's Zach Johnson. Apparently he is old enough to be in college.
2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, old enough to attack the center of the field.
Yeah, at 19, he already looks very skilled. Zach Johnson's got good form. You see there, dead center of your screen, running up to that center bunker in the yellow, and then immediately to the red zone. 2 players in the red zone right now for Penn State. They're on the attack. There's Johnson looking towards the D side, trying to lock that side down. And then here is the D side. And look at the crossfield spread for Fresno State. 4 bodies for them, one of them in the box. He's going to come back, and there goes Zach Johnson trying another run through in the center. And it looks like a major penalty, I think, going to be on another major penalty on Fresno State. My God, they are just trying to throw this game away. So Zach Johnson made the move and was able to get the shot on him. Couldn't tell if it was, did Johnson Todd shoot him, or was...
Yeah, Johnson and Bauer both ran into each other. Bauer saw him coming, so he came out and shot Johnson. Johnson came through and shot Bauer. I didn't see the ball break on Bauer, but I didn't see Bauer check himself either.
Well, Fresno just got their first body out of that, or the first penalty out, so, but again, another 2 minutes. So they're going to have to play most of the rest of this game here, but here goes Fresno State. If they can score this point, it's going to be huge for them. And yeah, it looks like Fresno State, even with the major penalty, Penn State not able to stay alive in their bunkers, bodies dropping and mental mistakes made in those gunfights. Fresno State's just too tenacious for Penn State right now. They're going to go up 3, and even with that penalty, it's going to be tough, Todd, for them to score 3 points.
Yeah, so here comes Zach Johnson. Bauer senses him coming, but where does Bauer get shot? The referee sees something.
I think Johnson must have put a ball on him.
Yeah, for sure. But I just saying I didn't see it break on that exchange.
And that was one of the last players left alive.
Yeah, there's Tolentino, but the referees saw that exchange happen between Bauer and Johnson, and then they just saw Bauer take off running up the middle. So, 2 refs come flying in from both sides. Red flags go way up in the air, and Bauer's gonna have to spend some time in the box over here.
But even though Fresno State has had 3 major penalties in this second half of play, Penn State has been trying to capitalize the entire time. Some stellar moves up the center. I like the gameplay calls that they're making out there, but Fresno State too tough for Penn State. So even though they've been giving Penn State every opportunity as far as all those penalties are concerned, I mean, you couldn't make it harder for yourself to try to maintain a lead by constantly playing 4-on-5. But Fresno's 4 has been too much for Penn State's 5. 30 seconds to go before the start of this next point. What sort of play, Todd, do you think Penn State, what plays are they going to start running here? Only 2 minutes and 51 seconds to go. More of those up to center plays, maybe some stunts, snake side, D side. They have to push aggressive. They have to push fast. They got to have about 1 minute for each point here.
I think the plays that they're running are fine. The problem is that when they get into the spots, they're getting shot out. You know, it's not a matter of getting into the spots. They're getting into the 50 snake. They're just getting shot. They're having the body advantage. They're just giving it away as soon as you know, the players settle after the breakout.
Yeah, better gunfighting ability for Fresno State in this matchup as they are winning that very crucial element of paintball games here against Penn State. So now on the breakout, Penn State is getting chewed up again. They lose 2 bodies. They do have a player 40-yard line on the D side of the field and also a player in snake 1.
And once again, Penn State there in snake 1 has a little space to work with. He's got Deans in front of him. Osegueda getting shot off that Dorito side. Deans very content to sit in this spot and pound the Penn State player in snake 1 and make him stay there, as he's going to burn some time off and shoot the Penn State player out of the snake. And now Deans recognizing the 1 body over into the 50 Dorito now, battling like a wild man.
Yeah, that was the definition of wilding out right there. Deans try to close that point out. But did he shoot Johnson, or did the point get conceded? I think they conceded the point, Todd.
Yeah, Ortiz ran over and told him to blow the horn, still trying to conserve that time.
Yeah, tough call, but you know, Todd, break that down. I mean, people at home are like, well, why would they concede the point? That puts another 4th point on the board, that makes the point spread 4 now. 11-7 is the score. Only 2 minutes left.
Well,
why was he doing that?
If they can get kills on the break, then they can win points fast. The problem is that, you know, with only 2 minutes left to go, you need the game clock. You know, penalty aside, there's 46 seconds left on the penalty, but I mean, you need to preserve that game clock so you can be able to score quick points. So 11-7 Fresno State over Penn State right now. We'll be right back after this.
The Empire Battle-Tested Defender comes with magnesium shell for high strength and lightweight, an angled foregrip, an axe-based firing engine, quick and toolless maintenance, an Apex 2 and standard barrel with Super Freak inserts, auto anti-jam, and includes both quick feed and magnetic flip lids. More information about this marker is available on the product page at empirepaintball.com.
So only 2 minutes and 1 second remains here. Fresno State with a pretty dominant lead considering how much time is left. 46 seconds on that major penalty, and they have just been playing with major penalties this whole time. There's the star for Penn State, Zach Johnson, as he takes the field, only 19 years old. So we are going to see him play here in the NCPA for the next couple seasons, and he could be a breakout star for that team. Already very polished at a young age. And fearless out there, Todd. And that's such an important thing. I mean, if you don't have that killer instinct, it's really hard to be good at this game.
And here we see Zach Johnson into the snake. Zach Johnson got shot in the pack on the way in.
And that's going to be a penalty, too.
Yeah, that's going to be a penalty for sure. He made it in there good, but as he started crawling, pack came up a little bit too high and got shot over the top, I believe from that tall tower. But time ticking away now as Zach Johnson going to spend some time in that box. This game might have just got out of hand for Penn State. So once again, Penn State going to blow that horn, try and conserve the game clock. Their minor's going to come off. Still 19 seconds on Fresno State's major, but now, I mean, they're just increasing this deficit too far.
Yeah,
to be able to score. Now it's 5 points.
I don't think they got a shot. Let's look at this replay. There's little Zach Johnson. Look at how low he runs. He dives in, and look at this. As soon as he gets in, he's set, boom, he starts. You put that elbow down, and you just start grinding across. But he was a little too high. But that's the thing. He's sacrificing he's sacrificing how high his body is up for the speed, because you can't crawl real fast on your belly. You have to get your knees involved. And in order to do that, he has to expose, even as small as he is, he has to expose a little bit of his pack there. And I would have done the same thing. You know, I mean, he has to get up the field as quick as possible. They're down so many points, they have to ride on that aggressive edge. Unfortunately for Zach, though, he did get shot and got a penalty.
You know, all the little things kind of matter sometimes. You know, like, you know, when you're a guy like Zach Johnson, you're going to the 50 snake, you got to win quick points. Angel Fergoza used to do this all the time. He'd put 4 pods in his pack. He'd walk out there, sometimes 5 pods, and as soon as the game would get ready to start, be under 10 seconds, he would drop 4 pods out of his pack, run to the snake, shoot a guy, bunker another guy, get off the field. You know, there's no sense in carrying those extra pods. That's a little difference right there when you're crawling down the snake.
Yeah, and while this game time is now running down, help us support the NCPA. Go to ncpapaintball.com, grab one of these event T-shirts. You know, we got, you know, we're gonna be repping them all day long. And you know, hey man, NCPA is doing awesome things for paintball here. You know, and if you have any questions about how to actually set up your own high school team, there's high school teams out here, tons of college teams, over 70 teams here at this event. We're watching the best of the best right now. But yeah, help support paintball. Also, we got the PSP webcast coming up May 2nd through the 4th. Check that out too, man. Help us help the sport. Paintball Access trying to do all we can to push paintball forward. Here we go on the breakout. Can Penn State push aggressively forward? Now they're just going to run lawlessly all the way to the snake, and it looks like he is able to make it in clean. Yeah, so here we go. Fresno State is just digging in. Fresno State rolling their guns. Just non-stop shooting if you're Fresno State. Put as many paintballs through those lanes as possible and stop Penn State from pushing forward. I think Penn State has, I wouldn't say they've given up at this point, but you know, if you're not pushing forward down 5 with a minute left, then you know, you realize you're admitting defeat. It's over. But what can you do, Todd? 5 points, but it's impossible. Impossible for now for Penn State. They fought hard, though. It was just too much Fresno for Penn State, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talk about the teams that battle. Fresno State right now with their skeleton crew look to be the toughest team out here right now, as they are just fighting tooth and nail every point, you know, playing these deep points. That was the 20th point of this match right there. You know, a lot of those coming, you know, with penalties. Penn State played a lot of games 4-on-5 and still are beating Penn State 13-7. But, you know, this matchup, everything that we expected it to be, you know, definitely a grinder, but you got to give it to Penn State, or I'm sorry, to Fresno State for winning those close points, for digging it out, grinding it out. And, you know, Penn State really just lost too many gun battles when they had the advantage and weren't able to put those points on the board.
Yeah, Fresno State, hats off to them. Even though they got all those penalties, they look poised to win this event. I'll tell you what, they're going to have a pretty tough battle against in front of them this afternoon. Actually, the last game of the day here in the quarterfinals is going to be University of Connecticut Huskies versus the Fresno State Bulldogs. But I'll tell you what, UConn Huskies have already played Fresno State. They played them in the prelims yesterday morning. They lost that game. Fresno State has already beat the Huskies. That game went down, it was 10-7. So Fresno State looking real solid at this event, Todd. I might say Fresno State might be the favorites here.
Yeah, I like the way Fresno State's playing. You know, I like the adversity that they're facing right now. And, you know, I think that they're just a tough crew that are showing that, you know, that they believe in themselves, they believe in who they are and what they're doing. And, you know, they're really fighting hard out here for everything that they're getting. They're earning it, so.
And that question always comes up. We always raise this question. Do you want to be the team that coasts in, or do you want to be the team that fights through adversity in order to progress through the tournament? Because the more adversity that you face, the tougher mentally that you become. That's just the way life works, and it's definitely the way paintball works. But, you know, that being said, it's still great to just, you know, stomp teams out and move forward undefeated. But right now, you know, it's winner go home, essentially. So, but still, you know, Fresno State showed a lot of mental tenacity, a lot of strength out here. And now they're running out to play this last point. 30 seconds left. Here comes the double push up the center. Zach Johnson wiling out. He gets blown to bits. And then, but now Fresno State starting to get chopped up too. Still 2 players left alive for them, both on the snake side. And here comes the bunker move coming down the highway. That's the inside part of the snake. He gets chewed up as well. So just 1 player left alive with under 10 seconds, and that is going to do it.
Osagetta's still playing. He's going to fight till the horn blows with his skinny jeans and his pink gun. Running out there, man. He's been doing some work, though. I tell you,
yeah.
Hats off to Deans, Boothby, Osagetta, Henley, and Bauer. You know, Zachary Shaver out there, Venegas. Doing a good job, Fresno State. So Fresno State going to take this win 13-7. and
Looking
advancing on into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and look at this replay here. Heavy guns up, running and gunning. The two players for Penn State up the center. There goes Zach Johnson, whizzes right by the 50-yard line, still trying to get kills, not able to do it. Fresno State, on the other hand, all they did was just turn their guns around and start blazing away. They got a couple guys taken out, but they still had a couple players left alive, and that was going to be the difference as you see the rest of Penn State getting eaten up, trying to make those moves. So, Todd, the stage is set for this afternoon's battle. But before we get to that information, let's check in with Amy Campbell. She is down on the sidelines.
Yeah, guys, I'm here with Michael Boothby. Very exciting game for you guys, overcoming some penalties and the depth issue. How tenacious is this team?
Oh, man, we were just fighting through the heart with the heart and really having the dedication and drive to keep this point going. The major penalties were killing us. As you saw, we were up 4-1, and they just came back and tied it on us, and we just kept getting penalties. We would wipe off a major, get another one, and our team just came out and fought through the obstacles and came out. We got the G's, we got what we need, and Matt Deans is doing a great job in that snake. He did a great job yesterday. He just keeps continuing it yesterday, and the rest of our team. So we're pumped up. We're ready to play on and move on for the playoffs, so keep it going.
Moving on. All right, thanks so much. Congratulations. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Amy. So yeah, congratulations to the Fresno State Bulldogs as they pull off the victory here against Penn State and advance to the quarterfinals. That score was 13-7. Next up after the lunch break, Temple University Owls going to be taking on the Long Beach 49ers. We'll be back after a break. Stick with us.